Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting of January 12th to order at 5:03 p.m. Okay, and we'll have roll call next.
Okay, Chairperson Malfatti,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Abarca,
Here.
Commissioner Monzon.
Here.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, and agenda review. Any changes?
No, I don't believe we have any changes to the agenda.
Okay, thank you. And public comment.
We do not have anybody here for public comment.
Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes of the regular meeting on December 8th, 2020.
I have a question on that. I think we mentioned about of Maple and Grand Avenue. I don't see anything that I mentioned there. I don't see anything that we mentioned. I think, Chris, you were going to look into that, or?
That should be noted under comments from the commission. And it's just briefly noted in there about the business at the corner.
Okay. So, are you ready? Is anyone ready to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the December 8th meeting?
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Jen. I responded.
I
Appreciate
just
it.
made it brief, but it is there.
Thank you.
Okay. Like I can make motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Yeah, I second.
Okay. All right, all in favor. Do we have to do roll call on that, Jen? Just all in favor, they can say aye?
Yeah, you can just say aye since it's three of you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, meeting minutes been approved and items from staff.
All right.
First
The-
item, only item, election of new chair and vice chair.
And so just to kind of expand on that, like per the South San Francisco Municipal Code, we are obligated to, at the first meeting of the calendar year, to elect a new chair and vice chair for every commission. So it is something that we are doing for every commission that we have. So that's something that's on task for us tonight. And the way we did it for other commissions like DPAC is that we've had the chair nominate the vice chair to move up to the chair position, or, but we'll leave it up to you for any other nominations if that's how the commission wants to proceed. And then we'll take a roll call vote. Hopefully we don't have a tie, and I don't think we will. So.
Okay, yes, I would be in favor of having the vice chair step up into the chairperson's role.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think we need to take a vote there. Make that official.
Okay,
Congratulations to the new chair, Abarca.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. I will recommend Hermes Monzon to get on the vice chair position.
Okay,
Anybody?
Do we have a
Second, or we can call a vote.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. Now, items from the commission. Are there any items that you'd like to bring up? I think that would be
Yes.
Herman.
I don't recall, perhaps we requested this one before, you, Chris and Jen, that if possible, I know you guys have many tasks and this is only one of them, but if having the agenda on Friday noon makes it a little bit challenging, at least for me, because my brain is already on the weekend and Monday flies by. Like today, I had to read it right before. As you notice, I didn't see kind of running, late. If possible, it'd be great to have a full week before, if possible, or maybe Wednesday, if you can. You can
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Monzon, or Vice Chair Monzon. We try our best to kind of get the agendas and the minutes out, as like the way that things work with us is that we are obligated to make sure that we have them out by Friday, given it is a Tuesday. So we're kind of pegged to a time that we have to get the agendas out, because we work with our city clerk's office to get the noticing out. So usually that deadlines just stack on top of each other, and that ends up being that Friday. We could, in future meetings, if it's not that complicated, of course we'll try to get that to you as soon as we can, especially if it's like, let's say the meeting minutes are not overly complicated. We'll get that out to you. We'll try to do better and find a schedule for that.
Okay, so just for me to understand, so it's up to the city clerk, or it's up to you, or you just
I could jump in. So typically we're waiting to figure out what's going to be on the agenda.
okay.
Usually I don't get that information until the week before, Tuesday or Wednesday, the week before. So
Okay.
once I get that information, I create the agenda, and then I also create the minutes from the past meeting. And depending on the workload, that can take a day or two. But what we can do is aim to get everything completed by Thursday. That should give us enough time. A lot of times I don't get information about what we want to post on the agenda until Tuesday or Wednesday. So doing it that same day, Wednesday, to get everything out, it's very challenging. Sometimes, especially if it's projects from engineering that might be coming onto our agenda, we don't have control of when they're going to have that ready. So that's kind of what Chris is saying. By the time the agenda gets out, that's following from getting information from other departments outside of ours, getting information about the projects, and knowing if it's going to be on the agenda. But I think Thursdays we can make that happen, as long as I have the information by Wednesdays of what we're going to put on the agenda.
Thank you in advance.
Yeah, I hope that would be enough time to get everything by Thursday afternoon to you.
So I think a day ahead for sure. And now that I understand what is the scenario, yeah, that even if it's at the end of the day, because that gives us, a little bit of pretty much an extra day. Right? Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Sure.
If nobody, I don't know if Dana, but I have another comment. But I don't know if Dana or Jolene have some comments.
I'm fine right now.
I have nothing.
Okay. So I would like to just wonder, I don't not necessarily go too deep, but I inquired about lot 14 and expand this with Jolene and Dana. But it caught my attention that, we overseen the parking lots, and I was, kind of surprised to not know anything about it. If we're not going to have that anymore, and what is going to happen with that. And you just want to put it on the table that we would like to know at least what's on our territory. And I remember the other parking lot that was right next to the 150 Airport Boulevard that also was gone without us noticing. So this is another event. I was not sure if it was an address, 432 Baden. And I don't know anything about it other than that you replied that was done a long time ago. So my other question is like, is that going to go, who bought it and what is going to happen? And also if that sale is going to go for the funds for our building garage number 2, because that we always come back. Last time that we reviewed review it, how much, and I'm just wondering if, you know, what's the plans, just curiosity.
Yeah, Commissioner Manza, or Vice Chair Manza, sorry, I'll have to get used to that one. When it comes to some parking lots, then that was the thing, is that when we received your request, we kind of dug in a little bit deeper on what's happening. So what we did find out was that some of these are like lots that are not technically, they're on city property, but they're part of the successor agency. And so, you know, like the city, you know, at its discretion can, you know, pursue developments on these lots. There are like certain things that are in the purview of the Parking Place Commission. And so that's actually, I'm going to segue into what I actually have for next week, or our next meeting, which is that our city attorney will be providing kind of a refresher on the Brown Act and kind of the roles and responsibilities of the commissions. So this is something that we want to make sure that we are all clear what the responsibilities of each commission is. So per the municipal code, you know, like our understanding is that the Parking Place Commission is responsible for setting parking rates and for meters and such like that, and are able to waive meters like we did for, you know, like the holiday free parking at the Miller Garage and things like that. So there are some things that are definitely in the purview, but as far as development and things like that, I don't necessarily believe that's within the scope of the commission itself. It is something that, you know, we do invite any commissioners, at least from the Parking Place, if there are any questions, that we can refer you to the project managers of the development and have them kind of, you know, take you through the background of like how the sale of this property and all of that details. But I know let me throw to Jen, because she did have a specific conversation about this one on Bacon.
Yeah, so to clarify some of what I responded to Hermes in an email, there's certain properties throughout the city that are successor agency properties. So these are properties that we are required to sell and not hold on to. The state is requiring us to let go of these properties. It's part of a long-range property management plan that was required to be put into place back in 2013, 2014, when redevelopment was dissolved. So we're required to let go of the property, and some of the properties can be difficult to sell. Other properties that you might have heard of that we've had to sell off are properties like the old firehouse. So it's part of a long-range property management plan for us to sell off the property for some kind of development. And in this case, this lot is being bought by a person a company who's developing the property right next door. So it was actually a very fortunate sale that they're going to be able to combine those two lots in order to make a better development deal, a development property. We are not allowed to keep this lot, and so it's not under the purview of the Parking Place Commission on whether or not it can be sold off. We can look into if there's other lots in the city that are part of this successor agency ownership, and if we're required to sell them off, we can give you information now about which lots those are, but the sale of those lots would not fall under the discretion of the Parking Place Commission. So the specifics of the long-range property management plan, we can send those out to you for further review.
Okay, I have a question. This parking lots needs to be sold to the developer only, or can be sold to somebody else? Needs to be only developer, yeah? Somebody who will build houses on it, or can be like a built park or something else there, or some different building?
It depends on the specifics in the long-range property management plan. But generally, it would be very difficult to sell off a small space parking lot to somebody who wants to turn it into a park. The city ourselves, we cannot own it. We would typically be the entity that would have a reason to turn it into a park. But because we cannot own it, it's very unlikely that we would be able to sell it to somebody else who just wants to turn it into a free open park. These properties need to be sold off for some type of development.
But why we can buy it, or why we can, like a city, I mean, like why the city can own it like a back, why they can buy it back, example.
That's not something that's allowed under the successor agency rules. So this has something to do with the dissolution of redevelopment and a requirement by the state that we sell off the property. It's not something that we're able to repurchase and keep. It's already under our ownership and we have to let go of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's a little bit right here, but it's starting to make sense. I had no idea that the city was actually forced to sell the property, but it sounds like it is. I'm amazed. Wow.
It's not all city property, it's certain specific properties that fall under the successor agency.
Yeah, it is something that happened like as the fallout of the the dissolution of the redevelopment agency, that before they had specifically identified specific properties, churn like really quickly into new developments and things like that. And with the dissolution of that and under Jerry Brown, it kind of left cities sort of like, wait, I thought we were supposed to get this kind of like their development here, and now that's not going to happen. So then the city, like a lot of cities in San Mateo County and elsewhere, are left kind of like, what do we have to do here? Because we then can't buy it ourselves and say like, hey, let's do something else with it. So yeah, that it's kind of a little bit of a like the background there, the things that we're not able to do with these things.
So for the community members who have actually, I don't want to say complained or criticized, but have been outspoken regarding the amount of development in South San Francisco. Basically, it sounds like the city has no control if they have to sell it, and whoever buys it can do whatever they want to. So put up big condominiums and apartments and stuff. Is that how it works?
No, not necessarily. It's that they can, the developer can propose to build something, but again, then they will be subject to all of the city's rules and regulations, zoning, and kind of like all of those controls. So that was the thing. Is like with the redevelopment agency, they were able to churn out and have kind of their own zoning kind of restrictions, zoning district controls, all in the name of churning out more developments on these specific properties. But now we sell off to a third-party developer, but they will have to come. These are what we need. These are the things that our municipal code permits you to do. So stay within these lines. So that's sort of the trade-off, is that we do have full control over what gets developed and everything that our municipal code will permit them to do.
And I would add to that, all of these properties, these successor agency properties, while our city staff has coordinated the sale with the potential developer, they go to a county oversight board that has specifically been put together to oversee and approve any of the sale of these properties that are successor agency that are now being sold off to be developed. So this parking lot, I don't know if it was this week or last week, went to the county oversight board for approval for further development. So there's potentially times where a property has been identified, a developer is interested in purchasing it and making a development, and then it goes to the county oversight board and they say no. So once it passes the county oversight board, then the city can move forward with the developer And in that instance, that's when the city still holds the developer to all of our regulations.
I see. Okay. Thank you. I learned something new today. Thank you. I appreciate it.
A lot of information.
Yeah.
Long history of information to go with it. But what I can do is I will work with our economic development coordinators, and I will have them identify any other parking lots that may exist in the long range property management plan. And so that way we can give you notice of any parking lots that may fall into this category.
Okay, Hermes. Thank you. Okay, are there any other items from the commission?
No, thank you for getting deeper on that subject. It's just always as a concern as a resident. Yeah, I know we are commissioners here, but we enjoyed a opportunity to talk a little bit of everything, and I think it's healthy, right? We we learn more, and because people come across with us and we had no idea. Might be a good idea to at least find a way to put because if one day they just see the fence, people will just be wondering. Could be something that might be a good idea to pass along, if possible. Even though we are here for rates, I think it's not a bad idea to keep an eye on anything that is parking related, right? Thank you for getting deeper into that.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll call for the adjournment at 5:24 p.m. for the Parking Place Commission, January 12th.
Thank you.
Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank
See you in a
you.
minute.
Admit.
Thanks.